Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Turnt For Good. It's your girl, Lauda Nicole, and today we are here with Louis Rei. Most of you know him from the group Western. You know, he's got the bars for days, but today we got him here to spit some wisdom on us, to share his Rei of Light. How are you feeling today?
I'm blessed. Thank you for having me on. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate it. But yeah, I'm blessed, man. Every day above ground is a blessing. Put one foot in front of the other. Yeah.
How have you been recently?
I've been blessed. You know, I've been doing a lot of reflection, self-reflection, a lot of warring with the ego. Trying to remain humble. But yeah, man, that's it. I've been enjoying the good fight. You know? Yeah.
Good fighting though. You recently dropped, well, not recently, but Inhale. It's been your first project, right, on your own.
Yeah.
How are you feeling about that?
I feel good. You know, it's like I feel like it's a real testimony to my journey and my truth. I feel like not that the Western music isn't an aspect of me for sure, but it's also nice to touch on a deeper message, you know, because I feel like what makes Western what it is the melting pot of our individual personalities and driving forces. So I feel like on the music that I've been dropping on the solo thing, I feel like it's like a look behind the curtain, you know, to the real. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think it's an opening of introducing yourself as more than an artist, you know, like being more relatable and speaking your truth, like you said, is part of your journey. So talk me through Inhale, like what was that time of your life, like what led you to speak that kind of truth?
Yeah. So with Inhale, it started kind of pretty much as therapy, I'll be honest with you. In like 2020, I got a good friend called Amar, OMY, his producer name is. And he's from Birmingham, so a lot of time I was spending going up to Birmingham, and it was like every Monday, we'd call it Movie Mondays. And it was kind of just like an outlet. I was going through some stuff at the time, he was going through some stuff at the time, and it was just like a real release. But then that body of work turned out to be the makings of Inhale. And yeah, man, it was just, it's like a internal reflection, a bit of uncertainty. So basically it's a double conceptual project. So there's two sides. In order to inhale, you must exhale. You can't do one without the other. So the inhale part has been very much introspective, asking myself some questions that I didn't know the answers for, and I was searching, really, you know what I mean? So there's a lot of that. And yeah, man, I was just speaking on things that I feel like is true to me, and then relatable to those that don't have the voice.
So what was the moment for you? Like, why now did you start releasing music, you know?
You know what? That's a good question.
That's 4 years, you know?
I know. And to be honest,
5.
yeah, and to be honest with you, I don't even know. I think it's just God's timing, funnily enough. I think I lived in fear, you know? I think I dealt with fear a lot. And I think I cared too much about what it looked like, or how I was stepping out, how it might be perceived, how it might be received. But I feel like life has a funny way of positioning you in the correct place at the correct time. So yeah, that's kind of what it is. That's God's divine design there still. I can't even take credit for that one.
So from there to the release, what was that journey for you then? Because you're talking about God's timing, but there's seasons for everything, right? So what would you, if you could call that 4 years a name, like for a movie or something, what season would that be?
Maybe the rebirth. Because even the shaving of the head, kind of embracing that stuff, because obviously I'm known for just being you know what I'm saying, the light skinned one from Western, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like all of that kind of fly stuff. But it got to a point where I just, you know what I'm saying? I don't know, I didn't feel like I was being real to myself, you know? Like all these man, no disrespect in it, it's calming it, like, but spraying up your head with ink and hair fibers and all this stuff, I just couldn't do it no more, man. I just felt like I wasn't being true to myself. There's nothing wrong with it, but it was just like, I don't feel like I could speak my real truth and not embody it, you know? So I'd say that time of my life was about a rebirth and acceptance of my truth, taking accountability for my shortcomings and my wrongdoings, and trying to forgive myself, you know? I don't think I'm all the way there in terms, because I've lived a long life, you know what I'm saying? I've done a lot of things in my life, but I feel like I've made peace with the fact of a change must come, you know what I'm saying? And I had to take that first step in order to see the change. And if I'm honest with you, it's freeing, isn't it? You know what I'm saying? You know when you're doing something that sets your spirit on fire, you know you're doing the right thing. And in that journey, I definitely feel that. But it's funny because with the music, like you said, I did it in 2020. So it's coming out now, but even mentally for me, I'm in a completely different place. But I know how important that message is for somebody that may be in that place now. You know what I'm saying? It's the origin story. It's the hero's journey of facing adversity and overcoming. So yeah, it's cool.
So let's dive more deep into that rebirth, because you named quite a few steps. It wasn't just like a one thing, right? It's the acknowledgement, the forgiving yourself, the accountability. Like, what was the order of things for you, and how was that? Because that's a pruning season, you know. Like, how was that season for you?
Difficult, man, because like I said, about like even warring with the ego, it's like to truly surrender to whatever it is that is meant for you is like it's really freeing, you know? I feel like a lot of us are control freaks, you know what I'm saying? And we want to be in control of everything, and things have to go this way. If it don't, then da 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 da. But really, it's like surrendering to what's for me will be for me, as long as I'm moving with integrity and intentionally, then things just align. I don't know, and I feel like that. It's like you have to tune into this frequency, and it's like, I don't know. I feel like when you tune into it, it's almost like a veil's lifted, and you see the world for what it is. It's almost like, not that it's a game, but it almost is like, oh, this is, I can enjoy this. You know what I'm saying? I can enjoy the twists and turn of it, the ups and the downs. It doesn't need to be like I'm going through some madness, my life's over. It's like, okay, right, how do I figure this out? This could be kind of cool to like Rubik's Cube this one off, you know what I'm saying? And figure out how to maneuver. Yeah, I digress. I don't even know if I'm on topic.
Oh, but that's a whole different perspective, though. That's a good way of looking at things, because we question, like, a lot of our questions to the universe, to God, to life is why. But do you then feel like you came at peace that you didn't have to understand why? Or did you have to also ask those questions?
I feel like it's important to self-reflect and maybe see why things have happened, and kind of like reverse engineer stuff, because I do believe that we move in cycles and we don't reach a new level until we've unlocked this one and figured it out. I feel like, as they say, new levels, new devils. It's like, I feel like you really have to, unlock cycles, and you don't get what you're supposed to get or what you're striving for until that has happened.
I've seen you, like, on a few years of your growth, a change as a man, right? And as the person who you are, and like who you've become, right? What how does one go from this person, that, however you want to describe yourself, to becoming that man who wants to walk in his purpose, and who wants to die to ego, and understanding his mission, you know? Like, how does that look like?
I think for me, it's a lot of pain. I feel like it makes you or it breaks you. And for me, the way that my spirit's set up is I can't be broken. So it's almost like I use it as a driving force. And I feel like it's what allows me to connect with those that feel that. And I feel like my mission is to be the bridge in the gap, and translating that feeling and my understanding of it and speak it to someone that may be a bit confused or lost on their journey. Not to say that I've got it all figured out, but I feel like my gift is wording it in a way that speaks to your spirit. You know what I mean? But yeah, for me, the change comes from a lot of pain and a lot of self-reflection, a lot of solitude, being alone. Yeah, just asking myself questions, really. A willingness to learn. I've always been a seeker of knowledge, and I feel like obviously we all have our gifts and our interests and our things that set our soul on fire. For me, I love learning, wisdom, you know what I mean? And I feel like it's my responsibility to speak that in a language to people once I receive it, that they understand.
That's a good way of like, it's not only for yourself but to then give to others, right? That not everyone lives like that. Some people live for themselves, right? So understanding your mission, because that was actually a question that you've already just basically touched on, is like, what do you believe your mission to be is? And you understand the gift that you have, which is your words, your lyrics, but it's like putting it into the space where people can understand you and people can relate to you. Because there must be many, not just men, but people who are trying to be better but just don't understand how, or don't want to face what they have to face. Because when you look at the mirror and you have and you've done a lot of wrong, or you're not happy with yourself, it takes a lot to be honest, you know? So when you're saying that you had that solitude and you were reflecting, like, was it difficult? Like, did you have two voices in your head? Like,
I still have two voices in my head. Probably got more than two voices in my head, I'll be honest. Yeah, I still, for sure.
What comes with discernment, right? But it's like, how do you get to that place to understand, like, what path you have to take? Is it that I need to get better at, you know?
Yeah. I think it's a willingness to, it's a willingness to learn. Yeah, I think that's what it is. I think it's a willingness to learn.
How, like, because you obviously you had to, how did you know what things you had to change to become a better person?
I believe it's a lot of trial and error. I don't think there's a set up perfect blueprint. I think there's a lot of trial and error. But like I said, I feel like a willingness to learn and an intentional direction. Having like a focus, a direction, a plan, and kind of just receiving the information as it comes and then discerning whether it is valuable or if it serves you or if it doesn't. And then I feel like the more you do that, the more refined your internal navigation system becomes, and then the easier it becomes to just make decisions.
Stand and walk in that line.
Yeah, for sure. Because like anything in life, like even starting a business, it's like I feel like it's all about just a willingness to go. There's a lot of people that are successful in this life that ain't the most talented, but it's because they have a willingness to get up and go, try things that might not work. Okay, that's not for me, that's not my truth. Let me try this. And then over time, you refine, you realize what works and what doesn't, and the decision-making becomes quicker and quicker and quicker. And then it just becomes new levels, new levels, new levels.
That's interesting, because that to me is like the feeding that muscle of discernment to make it more and more powerful. Because in essence, if you're willing to understand where you go wrong, and you're also willing to get the knowledge from someone else, and you're not so stubborn to do that, and to understand the things that don't serve you any longer, and to let go of that takes a lot of discernment, because there must be a lot of fear in that. I know, like, for me personally, like, to become better, you have to be real with yourself and you have to let go of certain things. So to let go and let God, as we say, is like difficult, because it's like that straining. So is this going to serve me any longer? Is it not going to serve? Who am I the person without this, you know? So I
think especially in this day and age, you know what I'm saying, this microwave fast food bubblegum era, I feel like,
that's a mouthful.
Yeah, I feel like even more so, you know what I mean, with just social media and all of that. There's a lot of fear, man. A lot of people are living in fear, and I feel like, just to add on what helps me in my discernment, I think, is the generation that I come up in was before all of that, you know what I mean? So I still feel like I'm in tune with reality somewhat. There's some people that really have no contact with reality, you know what I mean? And there's a lot of fear. And I feel like all of that social media stuff, it contributes to that. You know what I mean? You can't be real with yourself. And the being real with yourself, taking accountability, acknowledging your shortcomings is all about how you're going to grow. You know what I'm saying? You have to be in discomfort to grow, just like a seed. You know what I'm saying? A seed that turns into a big tree. I don't know if that's real. That's probably not real. But a seed, it has to break in order to become the big tree. You know what I'm saying? That big old tree was once a little seed, but it had to break in the darkness. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of people in this day and age, you know what I'm saying, they'll break and they'll put some makeup on it and a filter, and they'll be like, no, I'm not broken. I'm not broken. You know what I'm saying?
No, it's true.
But yeah, you know what I'm saying though. Yeah.
No, that's the thing. But then how do you break from fear?
Yeah.
That's the question, because I'm hearing you, but how do you break from fear?
I'll be honest with you.
I have one word in my head.
Go on, what's the word?
Surrender.
Yeah, surrender. Yeah, but even to surrender, you got to have that in you. You know what I mean? But
does not everyone have it in it? But then it's the fear of surrender.
Do you know what? I think everyone's got a surrender in them. Well, maybe some people just don't at all. But I think everyone has a surrender in them. But it's to what point? Like, same way, if you was being tortured to give up some information or something, like there's levels. Some people would break at like a threat of doing something. Someone will break at actually getting a broken arm or something, and someone will just die.
That's a good way of seeing it.
You know what I'm saying? So I feel like everyone has a level of surrender, but it's like, what level? What point in life does it take for you to figure out? This is actually another point, not to go off topic, but it's like some people have to hit rock bottom to surrender and hear that voice of God or whatever it is inside them. They have to get to that point. Some people figure it out before that, and they just have a smoother transition in that. And yeah, man, I think that's just like with anything, you know what I'm saying? Even down to like the road, like I can't swear, can I? I can't swear. I can't swear.
On.
No, can I swear or not?
Speak with truth.
Yeah, like even down to like road, you know what I'm saying? It's like some man figure things out quicker than others. Like for me, now in the place where I'm at in life, like, so for instance, we went and performed in jail the other day, but on a lifers wing, like actually on the wing, we're performing there. And man's having conversations with people, and it's like, I feel like I relate more to them man than man that's outside, because it's like them man have come to the realization of what's important in life. Not to say that you can't be about your business and stand on business as a man and your integrity, but there's a level of like what makes sense and what doesn't, you know what I mean? Like what's important, what's actually valuable in this life, what's important, what we building, what we doing, what's the purpose of this, why are we driven, what are we driven by, you know what I'm saying?
So do you believe he had to hit rock bottom to get that understanding? Because
yeah, I do, but obviously, like you say, it could always get darker, but I pretty much rock bottom there for sure. I feel like, but it could always get worse, but someone's always got it worse than you. But yeah, I pretty much so I would say, yeah, I touched some dark places in my mind for sure, definitely.
So the moments of like the aftermath of that pruning season and that season where you were trying to transform to a better man, what adversities were you faced with? What struggles did you face that were harder to let go than others?
For me, my biggest battle is ego, man. And like I'm a Leo as well, so my heart is big. You know what I mean? I feel like I've missed many opportunities in my life because of my ego. And I'll be like, nah, I can't do that. Or that's beneath me, or I'll feel stupid or whatever. But from a young age, I realized, well, I didn't realize. When in retrospect, I realized from a young age, I had the opportunity to, I don't know, put myself in different situations or different scenarios that would have served me, but I would just feel uncomfortable or I was scared. You know what I mean? And self-sabotage, that's been a big thing. And for me, like now, my most serving relationships, like friends and stuff like that, the things that serve me the most is probably the kind of people that I would have stayed away from when I was younger. You know what I mean? But really, these are the most clean-hearted, genuine, like, want the best for you type of people. And that's the kind of people that you should have around you. You know what I mean?
So do you think that comes from not understanding your self-worth and self-esteem issues, that it's like, I'm not good enough.
Yeah.
To then believe that you can achieve that, or you can become this person, you know? Yeah. So again, it's that self-sabotage thing of understanding.
Yeah, self-sabotage has been a real thing. And I think, especially, I know I bring it back to the youths of today, but it's like, guidance is a real thing, man. You need guidance and real models, not role models, but real models of how to carry yourself, man, and confidence to do so. I feel like back to fear again, innit? It's like a lot of things is fear-based. The confidence to be your individual true self. It's like everybody wants to fit in when you're younger, you know what I mean? But really what makes you special is the standing out. You know what I'm saying? Living your truth. What's that little weird niche thing that you actually like that's actually your truth? That's going to be the thing that brings the attention to you. You know what I'm saying? For what you're doing. And I think a lot of people are scared to actually just live their truth. And I feel like now I've started embracing that in terms of the shaving of the head, showing that I like camping and going outdoors and all this kind of stuff. It's when people see it, they don't expect it from me. But it's like, nah, man, this is cool. And then I get the man them be like, yo, next time you go on a hike, shout at me. Like, yo, what's that camping thing? The camping thing looks kind of cool. And only now, since I've started living my truth, it feels like it sets my soul on fire. You know what I'm saying? Right. I feel driven. I feel like, yeah, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And I think life is about finding those moments where it's like, nah, this is what I'm supposed to do. This feels right. It's easy. It should be easy. You know what I'm saying? It should flow.
Finding the confidence though to stand in your truth is a difficult part, because everyone's like copy and paste nowadays. You know? You talk about guidance. What was some guidance that you had like growing up? What was your influence? Did you have that?
I don't feel like I had
role model.
Nah, not a great one. Even down to like, I think growing up, becoming an adult is realizing that your parents are human as well. You know what I'm saying? So some of the mistakes that they've made and you've kind of caught the backlash for, or like it's instilled a way that your mind works because of how they was trained or programmed.
Too.
You can't blame them in it, and I feel like as you grow older, you have to realize that, you know what I'm saying, everyone's human. So now, growing up, I don't really feel like I had like any great role models. I feel like love was definitely instilled in me. Like my mum is like unconditional love. Like she instilled, and I think that's one of my saving graces. Like I definitely got myself in mad situations and bad situations, but I know deep down in my heart I always had discernment of knowing what's right and what's wrong, deep down, ultimately. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I'd quiet that voice down of whether I should be doing it or not, but the voice was there nevertheless. And I think that was definitely a saving grace for my journey. But yeah, no, man, even down to like, there's no male role model in my entire life that was faithful. You know what I'm saying? Like I never even seen that it was normal that man just do what he does and da 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 da. Not that I'm judging anybody or nothing like that, but it's just like what I seen that, and I feel like that contributed to how I moved. And then obviously when you move a certain way, that also touches on your self-worth. You know what I'm saying? Running around doing madness with this girl, that girl, da 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 da. You know, you really realize what you're doing to yourself in doing that. You know what I mean? So yeah, man, I don't feel like, I can't say I had bad role models or nothing like that, but yeah, I don't feel like there was no like shining beacon of this is what a person should be like.
Find that yourself.
Yeah, I feel like I had to kind of do some soul searching.
Yeah, I had to go through that journey. Like,
yeah, I feel like what I've done is find different characteristics and strengths in different people and kind of take a little bit from here, take a little bit from here. Kind of literally go around searching for all this information and mold it into this one person that I'm trying to be, and then present that to others. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's what the evolution of the human journey is as well. I feel like as you got two parents, yeah, and they'll have flaws and faults, the child's job is to take the best part from each parent and bring that into their life. They're still not going to be perfect. They meet somebody, the same thing happens over again, but the evolution of it is you get better and better each time. That's what it should be. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, your parents done part of the work. You have to do the next work, and then hopefully your kids have to do less work, and then it goes. It's about breaking those generational patterns and breaking those cycles, which is super difficult because you have to acknowledge them first, right?
Yeah.
And it's hard to come to that place of, like, for an example, you say when you become an adult and you understand that parents come from they had parents who maybe didn't do the right things ever, so their mind was also installed, and they're humans, like they're not always going to get it right. But as a child, you don't see things like that, right? So you grow up maybe with resentment, maybe with growing up with like a specific type of mentality that they've molded you into. So then how do you break out of that, you know? By understanding that that child's state doesn't serve you any longer, right? To have compassion for situations that you might have been in, and breaking from that, you know, because what comes from resentment and bitterness?
Yeah.
What comes from it?
A whole load of badness, I guess.
so it's that in an essence. Like, that's the first point that I got from hearing you speak about that. But also the second point that I had is you talking about, as a man, like, if you didn't have those role models and you were doing the things that you were doing, and you were saying that it doesn't serve you, like, as a man, how is it hard to acknowledge that, like, in terms of, like, you were even talking about, like, the being with women and, like, cheating and all this stuff, like,
I think
is that hard to break from? Is that hard?
Yeah, no, your surroundings is a real thing, man. You know what I'm saying? Your environment is a big part of who you are. You know what I'm saying? You show me your friends, I'll show you who you are, type thing. And I feel like when I started traveling around the world, it really opened up my mind for what's out there and how big the world is and different perspectives and how, like, unimportant certain things are. You know what I mean? So I think your environment is super important in your personal development. You know what I'm saying? That's why I told the man them travel. So a man, they ain't been out the ends, off the ends. You know what I'm saying? You go to Africa, you're not coming back the same. You know what I'm saying? You go to certain places, you're not coming back the same. It really puts things into perspective. So I think the people you're around, the things that you digest, whether it's the music, what you watch, all of these things is like, it's food, isn't it? You know what I'm saying? We consume it. You know what I'm saying? So you have to be very mindful of the things that you consume. Like, I can't even listen to rap music like that because my head will just go left. I can't do it. I listen to jazz music. You know what I'm saying?
No, yeah.
And some gospel music nowadays. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, it's super important, man. And it's, you know, so mad. When I was a kid, yeah, I remember someone said to me, "There's like, oh, that music really like pollutes your mind," and I was really like, "No, it don't. Nah, I don't. Like, it don't affect me. It doesn't change my mood." But I was really a naive child's mind because it really does. Really
and
does.
you make music, so you understand the power in it now.
Yeah.
You understand, and it's like the eyes and the ears are the gateway to your soul. That is a perspective that is truth, and you need to understand, because, like, what you consume is what enters into you, right? Because it's even a point I wanted to touch on you, because I know you went on a sobriety and a abstinence phase, right? That's a time of solitude. That's a time of blurring out that cloud, right? Like, gaining clarity, like stepping away from consuming things that don't really serve you, right? So that space, talk to me about that space, because you're a man. Men find it difficult to do things like that, right? So what did you learn about yourself? What did that do for you?
I think the whole, like, I recommend it to every man to really just cut everything out. Girls, drinking, smoking, anything, and really listen to yourself. And I feel like in that time of solitude and quietness, I learned so much about myself, and it put a different kind of reverence on myself. You know what I'm saying? It was like after a certain time period has passed, and I'm respecting my domain, what I consume, what I allow myself to be around, who I'm talking to, who I'm spending time with, who I'm laying down with, all this kind of stuff. I started holding myself in a higher plane. You know what I'm saying? And it makes it harder for you to do the wrong things. Not that there's a right or wrong. Everyone's truth is different, innit? I'm not like questioning anybody's truth or motives, but for me, it really taught me a lot about, I don't know, like respect for myself.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I think it was a very telling time, and also with like the drinking, I don't think I realized how dependent on it I was.
Mm.
You know what I mean? But you don't, because if it's in the line of work, what I do, show every weekend, another country this time, next country there, and it's just like another event here, another interview here, but it's just like, yeah, I have a drink, I have a little drink, or I have a little whatever. And literally, you've seen me, you know what I'm saying?
Literally,
Nah,
listen to you, it's like, it reminds me of what I was used to try to tell you.
Yeah, but you see me, I'm saying certain times when I've been like, at the beginning of it, like a sobriety kind of season or whatever, and I'm like, yo, I feel booky, like, yo, I don't feel myself like I
feel weird if you were sober.
Yeah,
like,
I was like,
and then I was like, you have a problem depending on the alcohol.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
I'm like, how can you feel bad in a state like it's your normal, like, right? But I guess accountability, right?
Oh yeah,
Getting real with yourself.
For sure. Definitely, man. But you know, like we say, we trial and error, we learn. I feel like you're never gonna get it perfect the first time, but you just keep refining the craft day by day, renewing the mind day by day. And yeah, man, you just get to where you're going, innit, by putting one foot in front of the other.
It like reminds me as well of like what you gain from moments like that. Like if you could put one word on it, for me it's clarity. When you remove all the outside things, all the distractions, all the things that might blur your mental space, you gain clarity from that. What would you say you gain from those moments more? Because you said self-respect for yourself, right? So internally, of course, it does a lot for you, but for the way that comes out on your life and all your other situations, what did that do for you?
Discipline. As a man, it's important. I struggle with it sometimes because I'm also a creative, so trying to find the balance of discipline, but also allowing myself room to create. That's a challenge. But discipline, definitely, because in those moments of sobriety and abstinence and all that kind of stuff, it's like you have to fill up your time with something. Where I'll go out and have a drink or whatever, that whole next day is just a write-off. You know what I'm saying? The whole next day is just a write-off. The whole next couple of days might be a write-off. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm trying to say? But when you're not, you're kind of like, what am I going to do with my time? You're more productive. You know what I'm saying? And you have more of a discipline to, you might want to step in the gym. You might want to start doing a couple push-ups and pull-ups and all these kind of things. And then you just, I don't know, yeah, you see the worth in it. You know what I'm saying? You start getting better.
I don't even know if I've touched on it on the podcast, but literally this year, January, like, so 2 months ago now, 2 years sober. 2 years. It's like,
I know, of course.
I messed up once on my birthday like a year and a half ago, but essentially the decision was of 2 years. And then from that day, never again. And it's like the clarity and the vision, not to say that obviously some people need the balance, but it's like, we don't realize how much harm we're doing to ourselves with things like that.
Yeah, I think everything is like in moderation. I'm definitely not coming here to tell people don't drink and don't do whatever you want to do. Definitely not. I'm the last person to be the poster boy for that. But what I would say is to do things in moderation.
And to learn what's good for you, though, right? Because everyone's different. Yeah. If you do have problems when you're drinking, you become violent, you become angry, stay away from it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, be actually real with yourself to what it's doing for you. For you, it's a creative process, right? But when you're doing it, like, for no reason, like, what does that do for you? How is that serving you, right? Like, you're a man that's clearly on a mission. Like, you're seeking higher purpose, right? So it's like understanding that as well, to what you have to do to be that man, which you said discipline, right? You're not disciplined, how are you gonna reach where you're wanting to go, right? So in 3 words, what would you call your younger self, and then what are you seeking to now?
3 words to describe my younger self would be naive, driven. I was definitely full of beans. Naive, driven, and that's a hard question, man. See, I'm like a deep thinker. I'll be sitting here for like
You have
till next
loads,
week.
1,000 words.
But I don't know. Maybe like a seeker of things, truth. Maybe I've always been interested in truth seeking, gaining wisdom or knowledge. Yeah.
Having had conversations with you, right? You had a very like angry perspective, though, right? To the world, to yourself as well, right? How? Because I'm not a man, right? So I don't understand all that stuff, right? But how do you like break from that? You know?
I don't know if you can ever break from it.
Because you need some like.
Yeah, you need it. Yeah, 100%. For me, all of the men that I hold in high regard, that, you know what I'm saying, the Marcus Garveys, the Malcolm X's, even the Nipseys, they're men of integrity, but you don't cross a line, though. You know what I mean? I think as a man, you must stand on business, but only when the line is crossed. And even if you have to, even if you have to move with force, sometimes it doesn't need to be out of anger. It can be out of compassion. You know what I'm saying? I feel like even if you have to strike, sometimes you strike with compassion, because in this life, there's good, there's bad, there's combat, there's peace. It all exists, and you must partake in all of these things at some point in your life. But I feel like if you do it with intention and compassion and humility, because you can still go to war with humility, because sometimes that's just what has to be. That's the only way some things get resolved sometimes. You know what I'm saying?
I was literally just thinking that the humility was so important.
But you move with, that's why I love like samurais and all them kind of man there. My favorite quote, and I always say it, is it's better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war. Because I believe there's a lot of gardeners in this war, in this life at this time. But it's better to have the her in you, but you don't need to exercise it if it's not necessary. You know what I mean? And I believe that's what a real man is. And a lot of, you know, it's actually funny, a lot of men that I've come in contact with in my life, the realest ones are more time the 9-to-5ers, or like just the good men that go and work their job, look after their family, come up like that. That level of discipline and integrity is serious stuff. You know, they're the man that's, I believe, they got fire in their heart. You know what I'm saying? If it's that, a lot of man that's on out here, a lot of people are scared. You know what I'm saying? People react out of you know what I'm saying? Like, and then things go left, and then obviously, I don't know, man. I just feel like it's a lot of people do things for the wrong reasons, and the strongest men that I've come across in my life are just normal, everyday people. You know what I mean?
You've definitely gone through that journey, though, right? You've definitely had to, all the things that you're saying, like, you've had to learn for yourself, right?
Yeah, and that's another thing. I can't teach nobody this. They have to walk. I always tell people I can't walk for you, but I can walk with you. You know what I'm saying? I can give you the words, I can give you my perspective, but ultimately it's up to everybody to do the work themselves. You know what I'm saying?
Do you think people delay that process, though, right? Do you feel like maybe at times life tried to show you time and time again and you didn't listen?
But that comes back to the thing what I was saying earlier about things keep happening and happening until you learn. You know what I'm saying? I feel like cycles happen in your life. They may show up in different forms, shapes, different types of people, but it's the same message every time that you need to learn. You know what I'm saying? And until you learn that, you don't progress, and what's yours don't come.
That's true. I have a couple scriptures. I know one scripture that you told me that you liked, and one that I wanted to meditate on this episode is in John 15:2. It says, "He cuts off every branch in me that bears no fruit, while every branch that does bear fruit, he prunes so that it will be even more fruitful," right? And what I like about this passage is that first you need to acknowledge there are things that bear no fruit. Nothing good is going to grow from that. So you got to dead it off, right? So it's discerning what that is and being really real with yourself, which we've spoken about, right? And then the second part was the one that bears no fruit. The one that bears fruit, but it hasn't like come to fruition yet, he prunes. So to me, that's God working on your character, right? Working on the things that just need a bit of shaping in order for you to then get the
refining,
refined, right? So it's like that sense of understanding that there's seasons, right? And there's just preparation seasons, and there's seasons where God's working on your character to then give you fruit, right? But there's also those seasons where it's like you're going to have to face all that uncomfortability to cut off those things, right? So it's like the discernment of those stuff is I think the difficult part. And the letting go and really letting go, because you know those things that you really want to hold on to, and it's like, no. Like for me, I think like resentment was a big one for me. Like, you know, when you're just angry from like inside your heart, and it's like, no, like you have to hold on to this pain. Like, no, who am I, this person without this pain? And it's like, does that pain serve you any longer, right? Does that feeling serve you to the person that you're trying to become? Like, do you really want to become this new person? Or are you still tangling in the middle? What's that word that we like, the middle one? Equidistant, right? Explain equidistant.
Equidistant is when you're the same distance from your destination as you are from where you set off on your journey. Is to be equidistant.
And fear is in, I think a lot of fear is in that moment, right? And you're like,
that's that no man's land. You know what I'm saying? But really, like we were saying, once you're equidistant, once you're on that journey, the same amount of time it will take for you to go backwards to where you started. If you just put that same energy into going forwards, you're going to get to where you're going. But a lot of people, well, not a lot of people, some people decide to go back.
It's a normal human response, I think, though, like the fear thing, but it's like breaking out of that is what will set you free, you know?
But there's a lot of fear mongering in this life, man. You know what I'm saying? We're bombarded with fearful stuff. Bombarded with it. You know what I'm saying? So it's hard, man.
That's like the word most, the phrase most named in the Bible is "do not be afraid, do not be afraid, do not be."
Well,
it's like everywhere in Old Testament, New Testament, all Testaments. Do not be afraid. So I feel like fear is the killer of everything.
Well, I believe that in this life you can boil pretty much every action you do down to two motives. One is love and one is fear. And if I'm a wordsman, I love words, innit? And if we look at the definitions of those words, fear is basically the possibility of something going wrong. You know what I'm saying? We're fearful. When we fear something, it's the possibility of something bad happening. But then when you look at the word love, it's the feeling of warmth. I can't remember the exact words.
You want to know what love is? You know what quote gives you what love is?
No, but what I'm saying is one is a feeling, one is tangible, one is real, and one is not real. One is the false evidence appearing real. You understand? So why are you gonna move
something that hasn't happened
with something that ain't happened, or you're gonna move with feeling and something that's tangible? So love above all things. You know what I'm saying? Love over everything.
I think that's true, that in every situation is you move with love or you move with fear, you know. I think that's something that God's really worked on my heart on the last like few months, you know. And getting to that point where you choose love is difficult, but it's like freeing feeling, you know.
Yeah.
Because fear is destruction in my sense. It stops you from
the devil is a liar.
The devil is a liar. No, you ain't gonna die. No, I need to like retrack my I need to make my gospel playlist live for everyone.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea.
I should actually make it the Turnt For Good playlist, right?
You should do that.
Oh my God, this is a good idea, right?
Yeah, I
should do it.
That'd be dope.
It's so different, isn't it? Like in your spirit, like it feels so good sometimes to just like dwell on in that space. There was the other passage that you like in Corinthians, which, do you want me to read it or do you want to read it?
No, you can read it.
1 Corinthians, it says, if the 1 Corinthians 12:14-22 is, if the whole body were an eye, how would you hear? Or if the whole body were an ear, how would you smell anything? But our bodies have many parts, and God has each part just where he wants it. How strange your body would be if it only had one part. So what do you take from that? Because you say you like that scripture. So
I like that. And I only read it the other day. That's why it stood out to me in my brain. I like it because it shows me that there's a place for everything. God has a place for everything. You know what I'm saying? Some things may not make sense to you, or they're not in alignment with what your function is, but it's all connected. And obviously, that's my thing in it, IAC, and that's the ethos in which I push in life, is that it's all connected. I believe we must respect one another. We don't all have to agree, because there's no world where everyone's going to agree on the same thing. It doesn't exist. So I believe it's to respect one another. If I don't agree with what you believe, respectfully, you do your thing and I'll do mine. We can coexist. There's no reason why we can't coexist. But we don't have to, you know what I'm saying, say we're just one thing, you know what I'm saying? So that's why I like that one. Yeah.
Let's go back to your music, because you said inhale and then there's an exhale. So are we looking to get an exhale project?
Yeah, most definitely. For sure. I've dropped a couple of songs already that are in the vein of that, which is a bit more of a certainty, because what I was saying in inhale is more so the uncertainty, the asking the questions, the not knowing, whereas the other side is very much assertive and knowing, speaking from a place of confidence. You know what I'm saying? So that's the XL. And also the whole name, the whole idea of it, just to break it down, is, a lot of people that suffer from anxiety and these kind of things, is we tense up and we don't breathe. You know what I'm saying? We hold our breath and we inhale. You know what I'm saying? So it's a play on the words in inhale. It's inhale. Like, you inhale. And the Xing of hell is, the exhale is the Xing of hell. You know what I'm saying? Letting go and releasing and cancelling out you being inhale. And it's exhale. And it's to breathe out and to release. Exhale, exhale. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man.
Louis Rei is a word master. So if you haven't listened to his project, listen to Inhale and Exhale. And even so, that was 4 years ago. So imagine the music that you're going to make now and the releasing now.
It's very frustrating, for sure. You know what I'm saying? In my head, I've got, I'm completely somewhere else, but it's important to tell people the journey, like I said, you know what I'm saying? So, the origin story. So yeah, tune in, you know what I'm saying? Make sure, yeah, tuned in, you know what I'm saying?
You're listening to the music. That's like real. It's going to take us on your journey, right? So it'll be interesting to see the music that you're going to release now, like having the confidence and having the change in you already, you know. Just to wrap up the conversation, what would you, if you had to like tell all the viewers watching you, like, one form of advice or something that you believe that they should stay true to or to understand, like, what would that be? Like, whether that's a quote, whether that's, like, some people have it as a scripture, some people have it as a quote that they live by, something that they feel full-heartedly. Like, what is that for you? Your light. Give us a ray of light.
Okay, for me, the ray of light that I'm moving with today in this moment is, I touched on it briefly, but humility. You know what I'm saying? I feel it's so important to move with humility. And it's so mad. I got a tattoo on my chest there, and it's a spider web, and it has spirit in the middle, and it has words that I believe to be
Give
Serbian.
me some of them, just so they know.
I think I got like festive here. One's like love, experience, wisdom, integrity, along those lines. I want to tell everybody what's going on with me, but I forgot. I remember when I showed my dad, and he was like, "Where's humility?" You know what I'm saying? And I feel like, as of recently, I feel like it's so important to move with humility. You know what I'm saying? And give people grace. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's human. Everyone's going through what they're going. Not everyone knows what everyone's going through. And I feel like if people move with more humility, the world would be a better place. You know what I'm saying? And I think more things happen for you when you move humble. You know what I'm saying? Not to downplay your thing whatsoever. Don't downplay who you are, but just move with humility. I feel like there's more power in having strength, but still moving with humility. You know what I'm saying? When you meet someone of prowess or importance, but they still move with grace and humility, I feel like that's priceless. You know what I'm saying? You can't teach that.
No, hearing you speak, though, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you for wanting better for yourself and growing into that person, because it's not easy, you know.
I appreciate it. I'm proud of you as well. You know what I'm saying? Doing all of this, spreading the good word and spreading a positive message. You know what I'm saying? Changing everybody's lives.
Little by little.
Little by little.
To be vessels.
That's all we
That's
can
essentially what even you're doing with your music. So, guys, thank you for watching this episode. Make sure you tune into Louis Rei's music. I'm gonna actually end on prayer before, if you mind. Anything you want me to pray about, Louis?
No, just listen to your spirit.
To listen to your spirit.
Just listen to your spirit, and it'll tell you what you're supposed to say.
Cool. Okay. Heavenly Father, I just want to give you thanks, Lord, for this day, Lord, for this episode, Lord, for this conversation, Lord. I want to thank you for Louis' life, Lord, for the person that he is and the person that he's becoming, Lord. I pray that you always work through him, Lord, that you be in his spirit, Lord, when even in his music, Lord, that you shine your gift on him, Lord, that you shine your words on him, Lord, so that he can be a vessel for you, Lord. For everyone listening to this podcast, Lord, that anyone that it's touched maybe something in their heart, that they realize that they need to really break from cycles or put some things to the side and let those things die that don't no longer serve them, Lord. I pray that they have discernment, Lord, that they can differentiate what comes from you and what doesn't, Lord, that they can differentiate what no longer serves them, Lord, and they can move in their purpose, Lord. I pray that anyone that's lacking confidence, Lord, or self-esteem issues, that you really meet them where you are, Lord, and you give them your Godfidence, you give them the strength and the courage to really just want better for themselves and to know and be intentional to what comes with that, Lord. I pray that anyone who is actually in that transformation season, Lord, that might be difficult, that might be facing a lot of adversities, Lord, I pray that you give them strength, that you give them perseverance to continue to endure. And I pray that we all also reach those places that you want to take us, Lord, that we have a humble heart, that we move with integrity, and we seek higher purpose, Lord. We seek higher truth, Lord. So thank you so much for this conversation. Thank you for everything that you've done for us, everything that you're doing, and everything that you will do. We pray in Jesus' name. Amen. But thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. Make sure you guys subscribe if you haven't already. Make sure you check out Louis' stuff. I'll leave all his socials below, but it's Louis Rei Western, right, on most platforms. And have stay tuned for Exhale that's coming out really soon. So yeah, see you later. Bye.